So, boa tarde. I don't speak try to understand some session today, but it was so hard for me. I come from Italy, and today I am here. I'm so sorry for the time, but the lesson will be very simple today, so will be not so complicated. Let me go back a little bit. My name is, sorry, it's a little bit slow because I am in presentation. My name is Nicola Decandia, and I am a CNCF ambassador. So we work for community. And today is a good event for demonstrate what community can do for us. So let me tell you a very nice story about what's happened to Terraform. And most of people know what's happened in the last few months. And I want to tell you a story why this happened. In 2011, AWS presented good software was called CloudFormation. With CloudFormation, you can deploy everything in the cloud from a YAML file or JSON file. That was so good because you just apply YAML file and immediately you will have everything in your infrastructure. And as a couple of years later, Terraform presents some things that was Terraform 0.1. So it was a revolution, but nobody understands this. It was 2014, and this product only support AWS and DigitalOcean. The community did not understand what Terraform can do for the infrastructure, you know. And in the beginning years, nobody followed Terraform. So you imagine the 2015, 2016 was so hard time for Terraform. And after in the last 2016, 2017, the community grew up. You imagine around 750 people begin to follow Terraform. Terraform become a very important software for infrastructure as a code. And Terraform grew up and found the Terraform Enterprise. And because it was so famous, last year, Terraform, or better, HashiCorp, decided to change the license. And this change was a very bad thing for the community. Because you imagine 750 people that invest every day to write code, and after they need to pay for use this code. That's no good. So something's happened, and it's a so different world until the past. In the 25 August, born a new software maintained by the Linux Foundation, and this software was OpenTofu. So OpenTofu is a fork of Terraform today. So it's perfectly the same. After I have some demo, I will show you what we can do with OpenTofu. And in January, this software become generally available for everyone. And now we follow a new track. We follow the software with a new version that is totally different than the whole Terraform. So the community now use OpenTofu, don't use anymore, Terraform. So why we need to use Terraform? It's very simple. Just because it's open source, it's community driven. So the community still to write code for OpenTofu and no more for Terraform, and also is impartial. So because of CNCF, we don't have any vendor. We don't need to follow nobody, and that is important. The structure is almost the same. Nothing is changed, and most of the time, the software the code that I wrote with Terraform is perfectly the same I don't know why, something's up. Let me close this. So how to write code? I will show you some very simple example how to use OpenTofu. So we have a user, and this user write some configuration file. I will show you some example of configuration file. And after using one CLI, you can deploy this software, your infrastructure in public cloud, in hybrid cloud, everywhere, where you want. So in OpenTofu exists, this file is made by some block. Block is just a few lines of code that you can write. And we have three different kind of block. The fundamental block, that means for begin to write some code, you need to use this fundamental block. You also have a variable block on the calling referencing block. We will not talk about how to dip is OpenTofu or Terraform now. I will just let you understand how we can integrate OpenTofu with Kubernetes. We will see immediately. So the first thing that I need to do is to write one small block, and where I define which provider I want to use and which version I want to use, because we can have several versions on our provider. And after, I'm going to define where I can see the configuration of this provider. For example, in this way, I'm telling I want to use kubeconfig that is located in my home directory. And when I need to deploy resources, I just need to write some resources block. And in this case, I'm going to deploy one namespace. And it's a namespace with KCD Brazil and with the label KCD Brazil, that's all. So when I apply this code, I can allow some output. And with this output, I can see if the configuration was completed and the output of the data, of the information. In my case, in this output, I will show the name of the namespace. For sure, in this case, will be KCD Brazil, but I can, for example, output the IP of the load balancer and so on. OpenTofu, or better, Tofu, is split in two parts. The core part is just a CLI, is a Golang command that you run. And the second part is a plugin and provisioner that you can install on demand. So it's very light. I will show now, when I start with CLI, I don't have nothing. I have just a CLI, and after I can run some plugin, and I can as plugin just writing configuration file. After the code, the CLI, this Golang command, connect with RPC to this provider that I downloaded. And with this provider, I can connect with API or SDK or what we have to my target infrastructure. So in OpenTofu, we have the standard system. So we write code, and after we start with init command. So init command, prepare my information, prepare everything, download from some registry the provider, and after we download this provider, we can plan, we can check if my configuration can work on the cloud infrastructure, can be deployed, and after I check this, I can apply. So when I am applying, I am creating configuration. I am creating all the cloud infrastructure. We will talk about later about state, but for now, let me show you some things. it's big enough. It's big enough. Yes, I think so. So the space, let me copy a small file. So we start from one simple file. This is a simple file that I show you, and that's all. So my configuration can start from this file, and I do tofu in it. So what's happened now? I download from registry my, plugin, and now my plugin is inside my environment. If I see the folder Terraform, you can see I download this Terraform provider Kubernetes. So this is my plugin. So now in my computer, I have my kube config. So I can connect to my cloud, so I can say, get nodes. I have just a small configuration of my environment. And now I can run tofu plan. And in this case, nothing happened because I don't have any resources. So we assume that we won't create, for example, the namespace in my environment. I don't have any, I have standard namespace right now. So I don't have the namespace that I want to create. So let me copy it. So I'm just creating the namespace Brazil, KCD Brazil, and I will output when we start the command. So what I need to do now is tofu plan, and I the output of tofu plan inside one file. This is important because I want to be sure when I apply the information, I will apply my infrastructure, what is already planned will be the same things that come in production. So I give the name, for example, KCD plan, in this case. And it starts, and it tells me, sorry, it's so complicated. It tells me which configuration will be applied. So in this case, the configuration will be created, and I will create the resources with a Kubernetes namespace with this information. So if I apply this environment, so I run this command, after a couple of seconds, my namespace will be created. So that means I have my namespace ready for configuration, but it's not enough. So in this case, so I just prepare configuration, file configuration and cloud. There is something very important. Microphone. Usually I use microphone here. You know, the difference now in this slide is the state. Terraform has something very important that is called state. Every time I provision infrastructure, I save all the infrastructure that I created inside the state. So that means I know what is installed in the cloud. I know what is prepared in the cloud. So that's, for me, some things that help me, support me to implement, to add, modify information infrastructure. So in my case, the state, every time I run Tofu read the state configuration, and the state is just a TXT file, a JSON file. I will show you later. And I match the states. I match what I have. So if I need to add, I need to compare, I need to destroy, I need to modify my configuration, every time I need the state. And I propose which change I need to create. So for example, Now I have my namespace. I want to add some deployment. So I add my deployment. I don't need to change my information. I don't need to apply again my data. I already have this information created for me. So let me show you. The state is this one, in my case. So as you can see, my state is, the state is, you know, this is my resources, and I create Brasi namespace. All the information is inside the state. This is in my local machine. So now, if I see, for example, tofu state list, I can see that I created this object, these resources for me. And for example, if I want to deploy some deployment, Kubernetes deployment, let me copy. I'm sorry, but I have just one end. Look, for example, the file that I created is just this. So in this case, I'm going to create one resources that will be deployment. And as you can see, the configuration is like Kubernetes, is you know, replica, selector, template, spec is almost the same. So I'm going to create this, and after, also I'm going to create one service, and also the configuration is almost the same. Look at the name. Here we have Kubernetes services, WMI services, and this is the name of the services. So this is the name of the resources. This is the kind of resources that I'm going to create. And in this case, will be load balancer. And then for the last, for example, I want to see the IP address for the load balancer. So I want to see the IP that these services will be assigned. So I can use configuration. So in this case, what I will do is apply the configuration, just apply the configuration. I can jump the plain phase. I can say tofu apply. Oh, sorry. Tofu apply. And it will start first the, you know, the plan phase, that it will say what will be created. In my case, one deployment, one service, and also the output. So I have two resources to add, and the output will know after I apply. I put yes, and in a couple of seconds, all my configuration will be applied to the cloud. And look, I have assigned the IP. So if I see, for example, the IP, now my pod are answering. So with few data, I can see all the configuration. And my state, list. And my state here show now three services, three resources that I create. So I create one deployment, one namespace, one service, and so on. So now you can understand how much important is this file, because if I lose this file, I will not be able to integrate other information. So for example, if I want to run tofu, if I want to delete everything, because I don't need anymore, because I finished my testing and so on, I can run destroy. And in my case, all the objects will be deleted by the cluster. So after a couple of minutes, everything will be destroyed in the cluster, and no Kubernetes resources will be there. So just few commands. I create infrastructure, I delete infrastructure. If I want to create again, I apply again the infrastructure, I will see the result. And that's all, because every time I create or I destroy these things, the state file will be updated. There is one solution. We can move this state file directly to Kubernetes. So that means every time I'm going to organize some resources, I don't want the state file in my computer, but I want to move the state file inside Kubernetes. I give you example how we can do this. Let me show. Here I have one file, but in my case, the main file is a little bit different now, because the main file is, we have backend services. So backend service means every time I need to deploy information, I need to deploy my Terraform state file, so my OpenTofu state file, but the name will be still to be Terraform. I will have this I will use this cluster. I will use the same configuration on my Kubernetes cluster, and I will store all my state file inside the secrets. So inside this Kubernetes cluster, I will create one secret, and I will push everything inside the secrets. Let me copy this command. So for example, now I run tofu init again, and look, the backend is initialized, and now if I do tofu apply, oh sorry, I need namespace. Now I have these three files. I have the main that contains this information. It's just configuration of provider. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And after, I have namespace that create namespace. And after, I have the application that I create above. So if I do tofu apply, and I do apply, all the configuration will be located now in the Kubernetes. In my environment, I will not have any file of Terraform state, but I will have, let me copy this. If I see the secrets, I can see all the secrets, all the state file inside the secrets. So in this way, I can use the state file for contain all the information that I provisioned. So if I delete, for example, if I move on another machine to working on Kubernetes, I don't need to carry my Terraform state, because I can see my Terraform state inside the file. Let me go a little bit. I do 2 demos in the same way. So just for repeat a little bit the topic, we start with init, and within it we download from registry everything. And after we apply plan check what we have in the infrastructure, what we can download or update or change based on my state file. And after I use apply for sure create my infrastructure, and I can. It's like you know, something that you can try every time you want until you understand that the code will be applied, and for the last you can destroy the infrastructure. Use OpenTofu is not just for Kubernetes, but for example, you can use for deploy Helm chart. So if, for example, you want to deploy Helm chart directly, you can use OpenTofu. I have one demo, the last one. I show you how to use Helm chart. Thank you for support. Should be this. So I have in this case main. In my I have two configurations now. I have provider Helm and provider Kubernetes. So when I start init, it will download two kind of provider, two kind of plugin for Helm, plugin for Kubernetes. And also I have the Terraform Helm release. In this case is Kubernetes for create namespace, and Helm release for deploy one simple release of Helm chart. And I am using the name of Kubernetes. This is a reference of this name that I created. And also this will be some value that I can pass inside my Helm release. So if I do tofu init, again, it download, look, also Helm and Kubernetes. And after, if I do tofu apply, I will see that my configuration will be applied. First create namespace, and after namespace will be created, I will release Helm chart. That's all. So if I see kubectl get namespace, I will see a new namespace created. If I see kubectl get namespace, get all namespace hello world. Sorry. I can see all the resources that will be created. So if I see core with the IP, I will see my application running. And when I completed tofu destroy, and everything will be changed, everything will be deleted. And my platform will come back again to the original state. So as you can see, nothing is changed. If you see Terraform, if you know Terraform, you will spend 5 minutes to move to tofu. And I can say, muito obrigado. If you have some question, I am here for answer. That's all.
Perguntas? Alguma pergunta? Beleza. Pessoal, fiquem na sala porque a gente vai ter um patrocinador especial dando brinde, hein? Melhor ficar.
Hey, first, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Very good. And my question is about the future of OpenTofu. So now that it is a separate project under the CNCF umbrella, how does the future of the OpenTofu relates to the Terraform? Does OpenTofu plans to keep support to newer versions of Terraform? How would that work?
Okay, it's a very simple question because Terraform was made by contribution, and 90% of developer was contributor of Terraform. Now what's happened? The contributor will move. We are moving because if you see the stars inside GitHub, you can understand how the contributors are moving to OpenTofu project, and or better, we have many projects of HashiCorp that are moving, but like OpenBao and other kind of project. But all the community now are working on OpenTofu, and if you open the website, you can see manifesto, and this manifesto is you can read. If you need some new feature, you just open an issue. If Terraform present a new feature, you present an issue, someone will support you to create this feature. So I think community is more important than enterprise, today. That's all. Any other question?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. It was very amazing. I would like to know about the registry, because you show us OpenTofu is still using HashiCorp registry, and I think HashiCorp in the future maybe put some height limits to us to use it, and maybe our vendors, which is constructing those libs, those registries, would stop to doing so in Terraform. I'd like to know if CNCF in the future maybe create an OpenTofu registry to be separated from HashiCorp.
Today we have already registry separated by HashiCorp. When I download the environment, you read HashiCorp. Why? Because this plugin was created by HashiCorp. So the registry is in OpenTofu environment now. So if HashiCorp tomorrow will apply the username and password, we don't have any problem because we still to use our registry. But the plugin now is built by HashiCorp. So we use the plugin of HashiCorp. It's the same. Tomorrow, if the plugin will be not usable for us, we will copy it, we will fork it. So we don't have a problem about this.
That's great. So it's separated, but it's the same name because of the plugin, right? Just
yeah, it's separate. It's a registry.opentofu.
Okay.
So when I download it, you can read the registry because when you use Tofu is not related to registry of Terraform or HashiCorp, but that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Muito obrigado. And I want to say thank you to KCD organization that was an amazing organization. I am organizer of KCD in Italy, and was a pleasure for me to be here. And I really want to say thank you. And you live in a very beautiful land, and you are lucky. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh,